A lot of people in the Charleston Tri-County area have been asking me, are we heading into a buyer's market? It seems like it shifted. I'm so happy that I'm getting this question because I would say for probably the last year, we have been shifting, but the public hasn't seen it. You know, the public's like perspective of what's happening in the market is like a year delay. People think it's real frothy and it's real good and it's real, well, it's been changing. And sometimes like things change so slowly that you don't realize it. Then you look up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, things are different. Well, I think that's what's happened with our market. So it's great. I'll kind of unpack where we are in the market and probably make some comments on things that you're seeing, which is prompting you to ask me what kind of market we're in. So, you know, in the years past, homes were selling not just in days, but within hours. They were flying off the shelves, getting top dollar, most of the time over asking price, and usually multiple offers, along with other terms that sellers couldn't resist, like no repairs, no inspections, closing on the seller's time frame. They would basically throw everything that they could at the seller to get them to accept their offer. But lately, you've probably noticed a change. Homes are sitting on the market longer. The average days on market used to be 4. Now we're looking at close to 50. Things aren't selling for what they're listed for. A lot of homeowners are pricing their home overpriced, thinking that the market's still extremely hot, and then realizing it's not once they're on the market and having to take several price reductions to get down to reality. So this has people wondering, for sellers, is this the right time to sell? And for buyers, is this the right time to buy? So what exactly is a seller's market or a buyer's market? It's supply and demand. There's something called months inventory. And the way we measure that is if you take the current inventory, let's just say it's 30 homes, and let's just say that there are 10 homes that sell every single month. That means there's 3 months of inventory. You take the snapshot of the current inventory, which is 30 homes, and then you look back and you say, okay, there's 10 homes selling every month. So in 3 months, all the inventory will be gone. Now, this is also assuming no new homes come in the market and no people like cancel their home and take it off the market. So the way that I look at that is I'll look at a snapshot of today, how many homes are on the market, and then I'll take a snapshot of the last 90 days and see how many homes sold in the last 90 days and divide that number by 3. That gives me the average number of transactions happening a month. Usually I'll go back and look 6 months just to see if that number has increased or decreased. And even though I look at the 90-day snapshot, sometimes I'll look at the 2-month and 1-month snapshot. And it gives me an idea of what trajectory the market's moving in. But from there we derive a number called months inventory. And generally, if we're at 5 to 6 months of inventory, that's a neutral market. If we're below 5 months, that's a seller's market. If we're above 6 months, it's more of a buyer's market. Now, what does it mean for a buyer's market? Generally, you can negotiate better pricing, you can negotiate better terms, you can take your time. Homes aren't selling very quickly versus a seller's market is, you know, there's not very many homes on the market, there's multiple offers, prices are appreciating very quickly. So in a seller's market, generally you can see price appreciation anywhere between like 5 and 10%. As you get more towards a neutral market, you're looking at like 5 to 3%. And as you start to get more towards a buyer's market, you're probably, you know, somewhere between 0 to 2% of appreciation. And if drastic things occur, then you see homes depreciate and lose value. So what's happening today? Well, right now, as I mentioned, you know, average days on market in our area, and if you were to bore down into the specific areas, you'll generally see about 40 to 60 days on average is what it's taking for a home to sell. Now, when homes are priced correctly with the right kind of marketing strategy and right kind of team approach behind it, it's generally taking 7 to 10 days to sell. Now, if you don't have any of those factors, they're actually taking 40 to 60 days to sell. So it's very important to recognize with the right strategy, you can accelerate that and sell quickly and for way more money. The next thing is that inventory has grown. You have to think, right? If in the past homes were selling in 7 days constantly, then the inventory was coming on the market and coming off very quickly. When a home came on, it came off the market, right? But now that homes are taking 40 to 60 days to sell, they're accumulating and the inventory is increasing, right? So it's because of that increase in inventory, which is increasing the month's inventory and shifting from a seller's to a buyer's market, that's made certainly a big difference. Now people are thinking, oh my gosh, the market's crashing, we should wait and see what happens, I don't know what's gonna happen here. And this is not a time to panic. There's nothing to panic about. This is a very typical market fluctuation. But what freaks people out are seeing these price reductions in the market. They think that their home's losing value. They think it might be a bad time to go out and purchase. And that's certainly not happening. The appreciation that's occurred in our market has been between 3 and 10% over the last 12 months, depending on where you're looking to buy. And we don't really expect that to change. And again, that's pretty darn good. Remember what I said, a neutral market, a good healthy market, it appreciates like 3 to 4%. Well, that's where we are. It's just a lot different than what you saw in the past. Now, these price reductions might make it seem like where the market is losing value and your homes are potentially losing value, but those are homeowners that decided to overprice their home and they're working their price back down to reality. Now, the price that their home sells at is what establishes where the market value is. But if you take a look at where all their homes are actually selling in comparison to where they were selling a year ago, that's where I'm saying prices are still up, 3 to 10%. It's just that it looks like the market's coming down because people are overpricing their home, unfortunately. But here's the catch, it's Charleston. So many people are moving here and so many people have been moving here. I checked to see how many permits had been pulled over the last 3 years for new home creation, and it was about 15,000. So you take into account that there's 5,000 new homes built every single year. Well, that's about a third of the number of new people moving here. So when you take that into account, there just aren't enough homes for the amount of people moving here. And what does that do from a supply and demand perspective? It's great, right? So Charleston's a really healthy market. We have a lot of people that are continuing to move here. And there's still a lack of housing supply in general, which is great for us, right? Not only that, but we have a very robust, dynamic economy, right? A lot of markets, I'm originally from the Detroit, Michigan area. I watched the state really crumble between 2005 and 2008 from the auto industry shutting down a lot of factories. About 3 million people left the state, but we were all dependent on one industry, right? We're in Charleston, we have the ports. We have one of the busiest ports on the East Coast. We have tourism, which is keeping everybody very busy. There's a technology sector where there's a lot of technology companies moving here. There's some great manufacturing companies that have moved here and are continuing to grow. We have several major university systems. We have several major hospital systems. We have several major military installations, including one of the biggest population of Coast Guard in the country, Navy presence, Air Force presence. And it's all of that that creates a very dynamic economy where even if the economy slows down, it doesn't impact the hospital systems, it doesn't impact the school systems, it doesn't impact the military. Sure, it might impact how many people are traveling here and a few other things, but it's so dynamic that we don't expect any big economic downturn to impact Charleston too much. And then quite frankly, in 2008, where a lot of markets declined by about 50% in home values, Charleston only saw about a 10% decline. And so that shows you the health of the Charleston market and how dynamic the industry is here and how great it is that we have so many people moving to the market that we're really insulated from a lot of things that would impact other markets. Now, going back to the housing market, what does this create? So for buyers, it means that you can go out and negotiate a lot of money off the price of a home. We have a ton of examples of where we're not just negotiating tens of thousands of dollars off of the prices of homes, but we're negotiating hundreds of thousands of dollars off the prices of homes. We just negotiated $400,000 off the price of a home for one of our buyers. There's no way that you could have done that several years ago. In addition to that, by pricing your home correctly with the right marketing strategy means that you can sell for top dollar and sell for more than you thought you could, making this very affordable and very profitable for you too. In addition to that, for the people holding on to that low interest rate that they currently have, or people that don't want to buy because of where interest rates are currently, we have a great program called Sell Your Home, Keep the Rate program, or a guaranteed 4% rate program, where we can get you into a home at a very affordable rate, likely in the 4% range. Take John and Michelle in Mount Pleasant. Kids were all settled in school. The family has their 3.25 interest rate on their home, but they needed more space. And they wanted to stay in the same school system, but they just couldn't feasibly think about how they could sell their home, pay more for their next one, and also trade up the interest rate from 3.25 to somewhere like 6.25. Then they met us. We explained to them that they don't have to make any kind of commitment to making this change or moving forward. however, to consider what the potential could be. We showed them how they can lock a rate into the 4% range. We showed them how much money they could sell their home for with the right kind of marketing strategy and sell for top dollar, unlocking a ton of potential equity that they had. Determined what kind of homes that they would want to buy, what we could likely negotiate the price of those homes down to, and then with their giant down payment on top of that, with their great, beautiful interest rate that we could lock them into in the 4s, how much their payment would be. And they realized that moving was much more affordable than they thought it was. They thought they were gonna have to spend thousands of dollars more per month to be able to move up in price point into a higher interest rate and potentially have to move out of the area with their kids to somewhere else that was a little bit more affordable, but we made it all happen for them. All during the school year. Kids didn't have to leave the school and go to a different school district, which was very important to them. And the family was able to move into a bigger home, which they desperately needed, and only moved up their payment a marginal amount, which felt very comfortable to them and was very affordable. They never thought that could happen, but what they did is they heard us talking about these great programs that we have, and they responded to it to learn more, and we were able to unpack that for them so they could see how this could make a difference in their future and they can get into that more space that they needed. They literally told me that they thought that they were torn between like keeping their kids in the same school and keeping that low rate but not getting that bigger home that they want, and they were really stuck. But I showed them how they could get all of it. Keep their kids in the same school system, keep the low interest rate, keep the payment very affordable, and get that nicer home. Stories like this are possible in today's market with unique programs that our team offers. So are we headed into a buyer's market? I don't think so. I think we're probably settled into where we're going to be. But what does that mean for you? It means it's a really unique opportunity to go negotiate a great price on a home, sell your home for top dollar, and keep that interest rate and make that move today before you miss out on all the appreciation that's surely to happen here in the future. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, go to davefriedmanteam.com. Again, that's davefriedmanteam.com, or call the number here and we'd love to talk to you more. Thank you so much and have a great day. We would love to give you local expert advice so you could make a more confident decision on what you should do next.